Terence Crawford says only one belt matters at welterweight after dominating Errol Spence Jr. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, the big homie, Terence Bud Crawford, recently gave an interview, and he spoke about the Errol Spence Jr. fight and the outcome once again. Not only that, he talked about the belts and the sanctioning bodies. And I just wanted to give my 500 nickels on what Bud had to say and break it down for anybody listening.
So, but if you ain't got the wisdom of the Lord, go ahead. Knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, knowing what you're supposed to do, go ahead.
We shall be nothing regarded.
Nothing regarded. So at the end of the day, everything else you got is vanity.
Alright, y'all. So basically what Bud said was he feels like there's only one belt that matters in the welterweight division. Really, I guess all divisions of boxing, but he said he feels like only one belt matters. And I know everybody remembers what Errol Spence just said about the sanctioning bodies and their fees and, you know, holding certain titles and having to pay a certain amount in sanctioning fees just to hold those titles. And sometimes I think this is the reason why boxing is so corrupt, and you know, guys really don't want to fight for championships. They just want to fight for money.
That's your Halloween mask.
But Bud basically said he feels like that there's only one belt that matters. And what is that belt he feels like that matters? Well, to me, I'm going to get to that in a second. But to me, I feel like all the belts matter. And I feel like there should be some type of organization fee to keep that specific, title in line and make sure people getting tested. I don't know why the fees are so high. It shouldn't be, 3% of a purse just to be able to get people tested and make sure, most of the fighters are all on the up and up, especially if everybody's paying into it. Maybe if they had more like a unionized system where everybody was just paying into one union, they could still have broken off titles and WBC and WBA and all this, but they all would have to be under one umbrella for it to work correctly.
Gutty, putting it by. Super lied to the boys and made them cry.
Because when they're all split apart like that, then you end up in situations like what we have now, where you had a guy like Errol Spence holding the majority of the titles and being taxed almost 9% on every fight while he held those titles just to hold the titles. If any of the titles matter, I say all of them matter. The problem is I don't think that people want to hold all the titles because of the fees now. Nobody wants to be the unified champion. It's almost like Terence Crawford, who actually said he feels like the only belt that matters is the Ring Magazine belt. And he gave a funny reason. He said he feels like that's the only belt that matters because it's the only belt that's free to hold.
How you doing, little Tony? Bad? Why do you feel bad? Because everything's falling apart and I can't do anything about it.
So if you win the Ring Magazine, you don't actually have to pay a sanctioning fee to hold those belts. But I guess because of these other sanctioning bodies have been around so much longer, or maybe they haven't, maybe the Ring Magazine is actually older, because I think Ring Magazine's been around for a long time. But I'm not sure why Ring Magazine can make theirs free, but the other sanctioning bodies can't. They're collecting fees off that. And it makes boxing very corrupt on the back end.
There'll be no food. This is a cleansing hike. Just Father Sky, Mother Earth, and your dear old Uncle Tony.
When it comes to, a guy like Terence Crawford and him saying that, it's almost to me like he's not going to hold those welterweight titles for too much longer. He's more than likely going to drop all those titles because he doesn't want to pay 9% to hold, or I think it's even more than that for him because he has 4 titles plus the Ring magazine, so he has 5 titles, but he doesn't have to pay any type of tax on the Ring magazine belt. But Errol Spence was paying 9% for 3 titles. Terence Crawford would be paying somewhere around 13% for 4 titles, you know. So, you know, that's a big percentage of a purse to be given up just to hold some titles. So I don't think he's going to actually hold on to those welterweight titles too much longer. Might give them up before the Errol Spence fight. Might give them up after the Errol Spence rematch. We don't know. But what we do know is Boots Ennis is more than likely going to be the next welterweight champion of the world. Whether he becomes a unified champion or undisputed champion, he's the next in line to pick up those titles as long as he sticks around 147. Now, if his ultimate goal is to get a high caliber fight with guys like Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, maybe even Keith Thurman, you know, he wanted that championship pedigree, then he's more than likely going to have to move to 154, so he won't be fighting for the 147 titles. But more than likely, you'll see Boots Ennis as the next welterweight champion of the world once Terence Crawford does relinquish all those titles.
My rat is the greatest fighter of all time. It floats like a superfly and stings like my pee. Who else dare take on Mr. Whisker? Come on!
I'll take on your rat and I'll beat him too.
So who the hell said that?
I give you Sugar Rat Leonard.
It would be my dream to fight you, Dr. King.
With that scrawny little thing, my rat will eat after the fight, if you don't mind.
Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Is Terence Crawford right? Is the only belt that matters the Ring magazine belt because it's free? Or do all titles matter? Hit that like button for me. Share, subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube to holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product with your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are mad.
Tell me what you see, tell me what you see. I'm an underground king, it's your boy Louis Keys. I done said it before, I'ma say it again. Top 5 dead or alive, top 10 out of the pen. Knock teeth out of your grin. Niggas like we battling him, then how do we win? You the type to let a damn chick straddle your chin. I'm the type to laugh at her if she asks me to spin. Man, but I still keep something with a mean onion. These young niggas mean mugging like they seen something. I walk up like OG, you need something? But he ain't talking about nothing, nigga, he's frontin', he's nothing. So fuck a one-on-one, we jumpin'. Say something about a gun, you ain't dumpin', jerk. I'ma play it cool, but fuck all that shit. Something hit your hat quick, make you do a backflip. Play it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Tell me what you see. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is the spot where the chicks get hot, all the product get knocked, player haters get mocked. So keep me looking over her, get there. Keep me looking over her, get there. Louis Keys probably a modern day Ali, make him rope a dope. It's your birthday, nah I mean. I'm clean, but I still show local love. So me and Mug get snug with a local slug. I was young, getting shitty, smoking local bud. Now I'm grown, getting shitty, and I'm growing up. Grown chicks in their 30s won't roll with us. Young chicks like Keys, is we old enough? Nah, show that you can wait a few years and then hit me back. We can see what crack. I'm a Mac on the track, trying to get them stacks. Here's a damn chick, look at that. What the hell you looking at? Play it, play it, play it, play it.